Reading from Love is Enough, Part 4. Somehow the dream of delicious unknowing and lack of a need to capture the wind or love feels like love, knowing there is no you or me or wind or love. All ideas, all imaginings are wondrous. How marvelous that anything seems to appear, including the need to feel safe, to feel loved, to look for walls that define an imaginary persona, to look for an imaginary outside, to look for someone or thing that wears the mask, to run out in a storm and yell, "Stop!" or to lay in the rain. True and false are simply more imaginary walls that seem to shut out the light. But there is no light, nor darkness, nor both, nor neither. And who sings the song of the moon's last sigh? Where is the line between you and moonlight? Is it your skin, your eyes, your heart? Is it where the letters of the moon end? Who penned those love letters that melted when the sun rose, gently, erasing the moon's reflection in your eyes? We emerge only in the touching, yet we never can truly touch. Bodies can dance. We are merely reflections of moonlight, dancing in each other's eyes. There is no one under emotion or who has feeling. Emotions flow, and there is no beginning nor end. The deep, deep current of unnamed emotion is beautiful. There is nothing inside or outside this flow. We are it. It's like my heart exploded and imploded, and there is no place for all this love. There never was. This love was never mine. Love cannot be known or touched or gathered, as we are it. We arise in the loving of each other, in the touching, knowing we can never touch. And she laughs and weeps at the magnificence of the story of a girl, a woman, a songster, who is laughing and weeping at the enormity of this infinite intimacy of knowing she is a story, a spinning thought dream, a fantastical lover's story where lovers magically appear only in the loving. Liquid sky cannot hold the morning. Eyes cannot hold the sky. We are watercolor dreamscapes of reflections, of shimmering echoes without a source. We are thought dreams, wandering through a forest of words. Thought spins, and objects seem to appear. Trees, leaves touched by moonlight, skies and clouds and feet moving, and someone wandering, looking for love, looking for freedom, looking for solidity in a dream. There are no things to be bound or free, nothing to be known or unknown, no one separate to know or grasp what is going on. The worded, conceptual world is the only world we can know. The thought dream seems to create a knower and things known. Perhaps there is an uneasy feeling that there is no solidity, no permanency, no certitude. Self is the looking for certitude. As life is felt to be magical, death is feared. More and more assumption of knowing appears to create solidity. Yet this wall of knowing also seems to block out the light and love and magic you long for. You are the longing for solidity and the longing to dissolve. There are no ladders you can climb to reach the sky. Sky needs no scaffolding to hold it up. Where do you begin? Where does sky begin? It is only thought, these very words which seem to paint a sky and you and love. Enlightenment is a fairy tale of love, slipping into the enchantment of a girl who wandered in the forest, looking for the trees and the spaces in between. It is the story of an inside and outside, to love, collapsing into an all-encompassing love story, which erases all lines between sky and trees and a wanderer of dreams. Earth falls into sky, wind rushes through wind, the very ground falls away, the falling falls away, and she walks, naked and footless, in love with spaceless spaciousness, amazed at all and everything, and the imaginary spaces in between. Morning sun spreads light and shadow and colors blooming. Clouds seem to catch the sunrise. But it is only echoes that we see, that we hear, that we are. What is underneath the color red? What is underneath the words is unknowable, ungraspable, not even nothing or anything. There is no solidity nor impermanence, no fleeting momentary underneath thought. This conceptual dreamscape is like a razor net of words, seemingly slicing up the sensorial display and its inseparable recognition into separate bits, things and events. It paints a thing called a symphony of perception and awareness, a you, a me, and love. All words reference other words. Every word seems to create a thing, and everything which is not that thing, including a you. This is most marvelous, as without this conceptual dreamscape, there is no sky, nor trees, nor you, nor me, nor love. All of life does itself, simultaneously self-arising and self-erasing, ever emerging, ever dissolving, without movement or non-movement. Love flows. First light in the garden, the feeders are empty. I can hear golden finches in the roses, gently swaying in the canyon breeze. Softness of morning light flows through the windows, flows through me. I am the morning. Morning is me. The dream crochets me with words, and I am the unraveling of words into letters, consonants and vowels, lines and squiggles, painting all and everything into an echoland dreamscape, reflections dancing with reflections, a treasure without a source. The magic you long for is life itself. There is no need to look for something under it, or beyond it, or outside of it. It has no edges. It is not an it. You are life's enchantment, a love song of stories without beginning or end, memory spinning itself into a tapestry of unparalleled wonder, words weaving themselves into a flowing web, a cat's cradle of thought, without hands or anything to capture. Thought paints an imaginary window between you and the universe, splashes light and color and golden finches singing. Nothing on either side of the looking glass, no sides and no middle. It is this imaginary membrane that trembles at the majesty of life seeing itself through your eyes, kissing itself through your lips, falling in love with itself through you. Feeling is an imaginary thing painted by thought. Are there different emotions without the story, the thought dream that you are? Is there emotion without the name? What is going on is unknowable without thought, without these shared learned words that paint light and dark and colors. Without thought, there is no thing called thought. The dream paints itself. After this profound shift in perspective called enlightenment, there is no feeling that there is a someone or thing having emotion or thought, and there is no trying to pinpoint what feeling seems to occur. Joy and sorrow and love and awe merge into a deep current of unnamed, unowned emotion. It is like an all-encompassing love has consumed, subsumed the dream of separation, and is unlike any ideas of love. There is no trying to change thought or feeling, no feeling that there is a someone or thing doing life, or that there is a someone to whom life is happening. It feels like a seamless flow that is neither moving nor non-moving, as there are no reference points, no sides, no center, in the dream of awakening that is inseparable from the dream of separation. Echo Land Ballet. Ocean of love beckons. You can hear your heart song, faintly, softly, calling your name. It is the waves on the rocky shore. It is the wind in the treetops. It is the sound of sunset, bathing your beautiful tears in rainbows blooming, flowers wilting, leaves tenderly unfolding to catch the sun, light dancing on water, and the stillness when all the ripples have dissolved. It is a faint and mysterious echo, a song you thought you heard long, long ago. It is reflected in starlight and waits in the shadows where you tried to hide from sorrow. It is the world singing and laughing and weeping. It is your own love calling you home, a home which you have never left nor can enter, for it has no sides nor center, nor anything called love. Feeling is an imaginary thing painted by thought, and are there different emotions without the story, the thought dream that you are? What is the sound of colors blooming as morning slides across the horizon? Where is the breath of night as it hides underneath the tangling roses, deep in the garden, waiting to sing? What are the colors of wind as it pours down the canyon, dancing in the treetops, waltzing with the shadows, twirling into this song, these very words that paint all thingness and the spaces in between, that paints this thing called the thought stream, and a seeming someone who or thing that thinks. Thought paints color and time and dimension and movement. It dances itself into this dream, this worded world, this conceptual dream of imaginary separation that we are. This symphony of perception is utterly obvious. It has no edges, no outside, no inside. It is not a thing, yet the naming of it seems to create it. The inseparable recognition of this sensorial display is not a thing until named. This very description seems to create a thing called perception and a thing called awareness. Thought even seems to create a thing called thought. The dream of separation paints itself just like this. Love, there it is, a thing called love. The recognition that there are no things or non-things, nor moments nor events, is the dream of not believing in the dream. There is no outside to the dream, as outside and inside, like all this and that, is mentally fabricated. Believing in the dream, not believing in the dream, is the dream. Anything said about the dream paints the dream, including this. Words twist and twine around themselves, vines of thought grow into flowers, blooming. Roses red and pink and drifting trails of yellow, golden finches flitting through the tangles, thousand-petaled wonderment dancing, wind soaring, all is drenched in morning, all is words dancing. Where is the line between you and morning? Where is the space between you and sky? Between you and love? It is only thought that seems to create these lines, written with wind, in wind. How thick, how deep is thought? How near or far away is thought? How close is infinity? Closer than the tongue in your mouth, closer than this song, more intimate than your heart song, swooning in love with love. This love in your heart, written with moonlight, shimmering on an empty sea, filling you, emptying you of all ideas of emptiness, of all notion that there is an ocean, or waves, or water, or love. Knowing that there are no others, nor you, to fall in love, is the greatest love. Only through each other's eyes can we see our own beauty. We are these beautiful shimmering reflections dancing, a ricochet of love falling in love with itself. It feels like light flowing into light without light, space flowing into space without space, love flowing into love without any ideas of love. Love flows into itself, edgeless, seamless, unfathomable beauty. The realization of no separation does not apply to the imaginary character. There is no self, no things, no separation. There is an imaginary persona in the shared dream of separation, utterly alone. But there is love. No one walks this lonely road, waltzing with the echo of her footfalls. No one wanders in love with the love of it all. There is no beginning nor end to this dreamscape of infinite reflections. Wind blows through wind, leaving no trace nor shadow. Memory is echoes blooming and wilting, leaving no trail nor path to a yesteryear that never happened. There is no road to a non-existent future. This is the autumn of memory, the winter of tears. It is the spring of joy, the summer of sorrows. There is no tomorrow when we will dance. This turning world of unutterable beauty spins into itself. Galaxies of wonder explode and implode. There is no center nor edge, nor hands nor heart, no words to grasp this love. I am a story of a woman, a girl, a poet, a wife, a dancer of wind and the wind dancing. I am the sweep of love, of this sublime unknowing, and the sweep of love erasing and writing my lines. I am a dream, a poem, a song, a tale of enchantment, and I seem to arise in the longing to sing of this, knowing I never can, to share this love, knowing it cannot be shared, to touch you, knowing we can never touch. How beautifully the trees dance in the summer winds. I am a pirouette of light and shadow. I am this wind ballet of love falling in love with love. I am an echoland ballet, a flowing gown of reflections, a spinning thought dream without a center or edge. I am the song of wind flowing through wind, of sky falling through sky, of emptiness falling through itself, erasing all knowing, erasing all falling, erasing all words that have ever been written, all songs that have ever been sung, erasing all ideas of a world or a someone to have one. After the rains, the evening birds begin to settle down, sparrows gather in the plum tree. Infinite spaciousness has filled my heart and emptied it. All that is left is this love, that has no words, yet is every word. And we dance and we dance and dance. And in the dancing we seem to appear. It is in the loving of each other that we find our imaginary lines and an imaginary space between us that can never be crossed. We are written and erased by love. Moonlight hovers in this vast stillness. The hush before dawn cannot be lost or remembered, yet I am the remembering of it. Drifting clouds, bathed in shimmering, soar through moon, a flowing, sensuous ballet of liquid light and shadow where love cannot hide. I am a gown of reflections, echoes of moon song, streaming through the garden, painting fallen petals with seamless beauty. Words weave love's enchantment, tenderly holding all and everything in her seamless embrace, erasing all lines, kissing you, kissing me. We are love falling in love with itself. Clear moon exposing and dissolving infinite photographs, rippling through our fingers, extending outward and inward, time and the hands, love and the hearts that would hold it, dissolve into ocean song. Poems are snapshots of an imaginary line between you and me. Light and shadow stream through the garden where love and love lost sleep. Last year's flowers are buried deep within us, painting the colors of today. We are forgotten dreams, watercolor memories, surfacing in the dark, exploding rainbows, shimmering in each other's love light. What beautiful stories we are, spinning galaxies of wonderment, arms reaching out to touch, caught in each other's whirlpools for just a brief moment. We become each other's beauty as we disappear and slip through each other, no longer separate, nor one, nor not even nothing. Yet it feels like love falling in love with itself. We are this dance of you and me and we. I appear to emerge as the longing to touch, knowing we never can. and that is the sublime longing that seems to define me. But imaginary lines are no longer believed or felt. I love you. I am you. And it feels like love, falling in love with love, through our eyes, our lips, our hearts, that were never ours. Solitude dives deep and cannot see itself, submerged within its own beauty. Ocean of love cannot see itself. Wind cannot feel its own touch. Sky cannot marvel at its own blueness. This deep, deep current of undertones and overtones cannot hear its own water music or feel the warmth of its own love. Ocean of love pours through itself. Wind dances with wind. Sky soars through its own blue. This song sings itself, less substantial than wind, without anything to flow through or any skin to touch. Our eyes meet. We are a river of stars, streaming through each other's love light. We emerge only in the touching. Here, in the singing, a singer emerges only when her song is heard. Morning sleeps under a blanket of dreams. River of bird song slides through the darkness. Breath of night in my chest. Softly, softly, wind swirls down the canyon, dancing in the treetops, sweeping through the fallen leaves, caressing the promise of dawn. Thought paints the daydream and a someone to awaken into the day. Light begins to caress this wind ballet. Night pours itself into shadows, cool and deep beneath the cottonwoods. The night-time dream sleeps, waiting to sing again. Light and dark weave themselves into a song of infinite echoes, light into light, dark into dark, emptiness into emptiness, nothing into nothing at all. Just a flowing web of description, a transparent flowing lace of voices, painting the dream of you and me and we. We are a ballet of reflections, a sea of light and shadow, rising and falling, a song of tides and vast, vast oceans, with no shore, nor bottom, nor surface. Love soars through love, and leaves the taste of taste on your lips, in your heart, lost and found in the imaginary space in between us. What is this that you long for? A whisper of a love song you might have heard before the world wore her gown of time and place, before your lines were spoken, before there was anyone to listen or long. Before is a beautiful dream like you. Poems never begin or end. They have no middle, no place to rest or hide. Nothing is hidden, nothing is revealed. You are a love song singing itself. Your mouth, your tongue, your heart knows these words. You are them. A sage shares what it's like, knowing this can never be kissed with words, knowing this can never be shared, yet singing seems to happen, and we meet in the sharing, spilling galaxies, spinning galaxies. Stories of light and shadow seem to merge and dance together as they fall into each other's reflections. But it is the very words that define us, these very lines that keep us apart. And seekers will try to gather every song as it seems to pull them. The songs merely reflect the seeker's love and beauty and emptiness. But the seeker sees them as prescriptions, not descriptions, as a knowing, and that there is a someone who knows. And it's all beautiful description, with not even nothing underneath. These love songs sing themselves. I seem to emerge in the loving of you. And love is enough. This is the rain in the rocky peaks and cold, fresh waters rushing from the springs, trickling streams meandering through high meadows, soft breezes dancing through tender grasses, delicate mountain flowers, petals suspended on impossibly long stalks, rivers of memory flowing over remote cliffs. Only the birds and sweeping winds know, cascading through waterfalls of rainbows, rushing down deep, deep canyons, joyfully greeting side streams and soft eddies under the bushes. Pools of echoes call each other in the canyon. Songs are sung of the high places, and the sky and earth and the lightning late last night. Spiderwebs suspended between the banks, heavy with the kiss of your songs, where all songs lead. It is the ocean that knows your name. You are the longing, the movement of life, to drown in your own wetness, your own love. This love is the end of all concepts of love, all that you have learned of love, and what it should or could be like, what you or me or the world should or could be like. It is the end of the feeling that there is a someone who could gather or hold love, or that love has conditions or edges or a center. It is not necessary to be open to life or love. Love is always open. There is no one to receive it. It is not a goal or gift. There is no one separate from life, no one separate from love. All of life sings it. You cannot see it or touch it. You are love's song. Voices from nowhere, voices from everywhere. There is no light or shadow in this placeless place. Lit from within, lit from without. Where is the space between echoes? Where is the dance when the floor has dropped away? What is left when the ground of being has slipped away? What remains when even love has burnt her shadow? We are galaxies of swirling reflections, pouring constellations of starlight into each other's eyes, swooning through all ideas of love and anyone to have them. It is here where lovers meet, in this very song, where we seem to appear, magically, dancing, in love as love through love. There is no magic key to unlock the door to love. Love sings in every key. Love will not walk through the door someday. She has been dancing in your shoes ever since you learned to walk. Missing you is who I am. First birds long before light, steam rises and curls, catching the light from my computer. Reflected in the window, they slide through an echo of a face that no one wears. This love has no opposite. There is nothing on the other side of the looking glass. It is a boundless waltz of reflections without size, a pirouette of light in light, a waterfall of colors, pouring through rainbows. And these words that are written by your heart cannot be read. We are love letters, falling into indecipherable lines and squiggles, a music that no one can hear but everyone can feel. And when all lines have vanished, it is the end of your world, the end of belief in anyone who would have one, the end of all beginnings and endings. All understanding was merely castles made of sky. All knowing was the illusion of someone living there. But it was all sky, unknowable, unfathomable, without direction or place or time. Still, the story spins itself, a phonograph of snapshots and unbearably beautiful music, a dance of no one, of everyone, a ballet of love, twirling without a stage. The curtains close, there was never anything happening, a flowing thought dream, a dream of love, dreaming itself. It is your own light, your own beauty, your own love you recognize. If it wasn't, how could you recognize it? All of life happens by itself. Thought and feeling as naturally beautiful and perfect as the sunrise. No right or wrong way to see it. You can hate the rain, but knowing it's happening all by itself, somehow it makes it seem wondrously impersonal, and somehow unutterably beautiful, that it is happening all by itself. Stories of love and anger and deep, deep sorrow write themselves. Thought simply happens, magically writing the story of a girl who feels deeply, and yet the sun shines and rain falls, and how marvelous this obvious aliveness. Somehow when the story is no longer believed, it all becomes impossibly beautiful. It feels like love has saturated the dream, erasing all lines between joy and sorrow. Seemingly it is love writing our lines, love singing itself through our lips, our hearts, this love that no one owns, as it is really not a thing. Not bad or good, no right or wrong. Labels are just happening all by themselves. It seems that the knowing feeling that it's all story, including this, and that it happens all by itself, this echo-land ballet of thought, makes it seem more wondrous than I could have ever believed before the shift. It is the beauty and love and wonder that we become, the beauty where we live. We are this thought dream, or mind. Without it there is not even nothing, not even a thing called thought. You become the story of unconditional love. You are written in as wondrously as the sun rising, and waves crashing, and babies crying, and lovers loving, fighting, weeping, laughing, simply wind soaring through wind. And where do the ripples go when the moon has plummeted over the mountain's edge? Does the water wait for morning? Does stillness wait for movement, and silence for song? Night dances through day, hides in the shadows, punctuates the light, like stars strewn across the darkness, randomly singing the stories of the ancients in new and wondrous tongues. Words are notes, pinpricks of light in the dark of unknowing, seemingly weaving a song of meaning and truth and a singer. Without words, not even darkness exists. Beyond words is a most marvelous idea, grasping for a knowing that can never be held. What dances beyond the heart, beyond this song, beyond these words? Calling it a most delicious unknowing makes it a thing, and there are none. It feels like love, but to whom? No one can say or sing of what cannot be kissed with words, yet we all know of this magic. Most fear it and long for it, but it is not an it. For this unknowing exists only as a known thing, a mental fabrication. Words are slippery shadows without a source. We are words, tumbling through each other's echoes, simply dreams of reflections shimmering on a moonlit pond. Poems are plum blossoms falling, wind and a dusty street, the last bird after sunset, and the growing night, the silence of empty shadows and the rustling of shallow winds in the dark. The first bird song before dawn, shoes by the side of an empty bed, a teacup on the windowsill, tendrils of steam rising through the reflection of my face, dew on delicate velvet petals, reflecting the rising sun, memories of tears and laughing, memories of love, that great emptiness I tried to run away from and discovered that I was. Longing for love, longing, clouds forming, wind in the treetops, waves of flowing grasses, clouds dissolving, the growing chill of winter's breath, and golden leaves falling. Every hello and goodbye, every kiss and every kiss missed. Poems have empty spaces between the words, between the letters, that allow the lines and squiggles to dance, stretching out into a love song that will never capture love. Ah, the fleetingness of life, appearing and disappearing, without time, leaving no wake or shadow to twirl on empty beaches. Wind erases all footprints. Such immeasurable beauty, the dance of wind in wind. Falling through a photograph of yourself, all edges disappear. There is only the softness of the beauty that you are, but can never find. It was only an illusion that there was a you walking, tiptoeing along a timeline between birth and death, afraid to fall off, terrified to reach the end. Life a series of snapshots in a book of poems. Every page dissolves as soon as it is read. Beauty is this impermanence that death sings. We are dream dancers as the dream dances us. A ballet of illusions flowing across an imaginary screen of time and place. We are transparent reflections, echoes of silhouettes dissolving into echoes, never lost, never found. There is no hand, no heart to hold this beauty, this love, that seems to erase my imaginary lines and writes me into this very song. Language of love. Last finches gather at the feeders, trees dance in the swell and ebb of canyon winds, breath of evening, the pause before dark, day into night, night into day. Thought spins the dream into threads of moonlight, weaving a garden of echoes. Can you catch wind with a lasso of thought? There is no you or wind or thought under these words. As soon as I sing, a singer seems to appear, and a someone who listens. A space between us forms. The words disappear, and we dissolve into wind dancing.